Look, there's a war happening right now, and it's not the kind they put on the news. This one's fought in the shadows, and the target is our kids, our children. It's the youth. Because if you want to destroy a future, you kill it before it even has a chance to grow. For example, look at the Middle East. They're killing the bloodline. In Gaza, in the West Bank, it's not hidden. They don't even try to hide it anymore. Israeli forces are out here doing calculated murder of children. I'm talking drone strikes on schools, on playgrounds, snipers shooting kids who are just holding flags or carrying toys. They're starving entire populations, blocking food and medicine so the babies die first. They're bombing hospitals where mothers are giving birth. They're using phosphorus on neighborhoods where families can't even run. And this is not collateral damage. This is demographic engineering. They are trying to erase the next generation. And they do it psychologically too. They arrest kids as young as 8, throw them in military detention, torture confessions out of them, terrorize them so hard they can't sleep without nightmares. They spray skunk water on schools. Chemical weapons that stink for days. They shoot out knees with exploding bullets so kids walk with canes for life. And it's not just killing, it's maiming, traumatizing, making sure even the survivors are broken. And we already saw this playbook. Iraq. American soldiers shooting at civilian cars at checkpoints like it was nothing. Neighborhoods bombed to dust. Depleted uranium in the soil that'll cause birth defects for generations. Fallujah, which is babies born with 2 heads, missing limbs, cancers off the charts. They weren't there to liberate anyone. They were there to liquidate the future. Same in Afghanistan. Wedding parties droned, kids collecting firewood called militants. The body counts were lies. They were counting children as enemy combatants to hide the genocide. And then the colonial legacy is that they tried to bleach melanated people. Go back further. Colonization, slavery. The methods changed, but the goal stayed the same. Destroy the lineage. The Europeans knew, to break a people, you break their bloodline. So they raped women systematically, forcing them to have lighter-skinned babies who would be ripped from their mothers and raised away from their culture. They tortured children in front of parents, murdered them as spectacle, and the worst, they fed babies to dogs, crocodiles, and other wild animals for entertainment. Plantation crowds watching infants get torn apart. In Australia, they stole Aboriginal children, the stolen generations. They tried to breed the black out of them. And look what they did to the indigenous, the original people of the land. They didn't just steal the territory, they tried to erase the people from existence. Systematic genocide across the Americas, whole nations wiped out by smallpox blankets, by all these diseases, by forced marches where children died of exposure, by bounty hunters paid per scalp. They raped the women to breed the Indian out of them. Same as everywhere else. Sexual violence as a weapon of war, generation after generation of mixed blood children stolen from their mothers and raised in missions to hate themselves. They tortured for sport, for conversion, for the crime of being heathen. They fed babies to dogs, like I said before. They made the parents watch. They made it entertainment. And when the killing slowed, they switched to cultural genocide. Residential schools where indigenous kids were beaten for speaking their native language, where thousands were murdered and buried in unmarked graves, where nuns and priests abused them for decades while the government looked away. The bloodline attacks worked. You look at reservations now, the alcoholism, the suicide rates, the depression, the missing and murdered indigenous women that nobody investigates, the foster care system still stealing kids today. The trauma is in the DNA right now, passed down, epigenetic scars. They wanted to make sure that even centuries later, the nations would be too broken to rise, too traumatized to remember who they were. And it almost worked, almost. And this was across the United States, Canada, Latin America. In Africa, Belgian colonizers cutting off children's hands if their parents didn't meet rubber quotas. And then you got ICE right here in America, and they're snatching kids from their parents at the border, throwing babies in cages, losing thousands of children in their care. Yeah, lost like you lost your keys, not like they vanished into trafficking networks that profit off the most vulnerable. They force feed kids psych meds to keep them docile in detention centers, deport parents without their children, ship babies to sponsors who aren't even vetted. They rape the women in these immigration detention centers. Once again, whitening the bloodline, family separation as policy, trauma as strategy, breaking the bond between mother and child because broken people are easier to control. And while that's happening here, across the ocean in Congo, kids as young as 6 are crawling into cobalt mines so your phone can charge, so your Tesla can run. Digging with bare hands, breathing toxic dust, dying in tunnel collapses that never make the news because Apple and Tesla need their batteries cheap. Their childhoods are the cost of your convenience. Same in Sudan. War funded by foreign powers, arms sold by the same countries that send aid, famine manufactured, children starving while grain rots in warehouses, girls are raped by militias, boys are conscripted as soldiers before they can even grow facial hair, refugee camps that are just open-air prisons where the waiting kills as surely as the bullets. It's the same hand everywhere. You just have to trace the money back to the same banks, the same corporations, the same families who profit, whether the weapon is a border cage, a mine shaft, or a warlord's rifle. The method changes by geography, but the harvest is always children. And then don't even get me started on Haiti. Every time a hurricane hits, every time an earthquake shakes that island, the vultures descend. Aid workers with fake credentials, NGOs with smiling faces, and hidden cargo lists, they swoop in while the bodies are still warm and start cataloging orphans. Kids pulled from rubble don't go to families, they go to brokers, they go to ships, they go to Dominican Republic brothels, to American adoption agencies that charge $40,000 a head, to organ harvesters who match blood types in advance. The Clintons made Haiti their personal playground. Where's the money? Where are the hospitals they promised? Where are the thousands of children that disappeared from emergency shelters after the 2010 earthquake? The same pattern every disaster. Chaos creates cover, and cover lets them traffic without questions. No records, no accountability, just a lot of blonde missionaries taking photos with black babies they saved. And then those same babies vanish into supply chains that feed the same elite appetites. They don't rebuild Haiti because a broken Haiti is profitable. A broken Haiti produces children for sale. The British in India letting millions starve while they exported grain. It's the same playbook everywhere. Erase the children, erase the future. And it didn't stop when slavery ended. They just got slicker. Tuskegee experiments on black men, forced sterilizations of Puerto Rican women, lead pipes in Flint. They're still poisoning the bloodline. They're still trying to cut the family tree at the roots. And then America got smarter about it. Why kill them yourself when you can make them kill each other and kill themselves? The elites figured out how to have black and brown youth destroy themselves. Cultural programming, environmental poisoning. They got white kids killing black kids, and the system covers it up because the system wants a white in society. They want a white America. Look at the music, controlled by the same corporations that own everything, pushing death, materialism, self-harm, specifically into marginalized communities, popping pills. They sign the deals, they push the narratives, they make it cool to kill your own brother. And the drugs, the guns, they magically appeared in the 80s. Bullshit. CIA flooding the neighborhoods while police looked the other way. Gary Webb exposed it. Then they killed him. 2 bullets to the head, called it suicide. Now you got communities policing themselves into extinction. Private prisons making money off everybody. Kids killing each other over colors and corners while the architects watch from penthouses. Depopulation by proxy. No camps needed. Just give them enough despair and they'll be their own executioners. And don't forget the food, the water, the vaccines, all of it designed to sterilize, feminize, dumb down. Fluoride calcifying the pineal gland. High fructose corn syrup making kids obese and diabetic before they're teenagers, giving kids all type of issues like childhood cancer, SSRIs making them suicidal, the phones frying their brains, TikTok shortening their attention spans, porn destroying their ability to connect. It's a full spectrum assault on their minds, bodies, and souls. And then there's the sickest secret, the one under everything. Epstein wasn't just abuse, it was extraction. The global elite, they stay looking young, living forever through adrenochrome. It's in children's blood when they're terrified. The fear creates the chemical. The more terror, the more potent. The rituals are real. Trafficking, torture, murder. They eat the flesh. They drink the blood. In ceremonies going back centuries, Bohemian Grove, Epstein Island, the tunnels under the Vatican, the catacombs beneath cities. Children's blood has something adult blood loses. Purity, vitality, life. That's why they protect each other so hard. They share crimes that can't be forgiven. Bound together in silence by the blood of kids. Look at these elites. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, British royals, Hollywood. They live to 100 looking 60. Adrenochrome. The missing kids on milk cartons. Most of them aren't dead, they're in facilities. The border crisis, they're funneling kids to these networks. It's an industry. Look at what they did in Haiti, trafficking millions of children after the hurricanes. It's an industry. Billions of dollars, protected by judges, cops, politicians who all get their cut or their supply. And here's what they're not telling you. This isn't new. This is not just greedy rich people. This goes back thousands of years. Ancient bloodlines, the same families running the show today. The black nobility, the Venetian bankers, the Phoenician sea merchants. They've been at this for millennia. And they're not human like us. Not fully. They're a different species. Or they're possessed. Or they're something else entirely. Call them Nephilim, call them reptilians, call them the synagogue of Satan. It doesn't matter what name you use. What matters is they hate humanity. They feed on our suffering. They need our fear like we need oxygen. They created the religions to control us. They created the monetary system to enslave us. They created the governments to police us. They created the wars to harvest our young men. They created the abortions to harvest our unborn. It's all connected. It's all a farm and we're the livestock, and our children are the premium product. The biggest wealth to any society is the children. They answer to something older and much darker. They don't answer to the God that we pray to. They answer to Lucifer, Moloch, Baal, whatever you want to call it. The owl at Bohemian Grove, the obelisks and pyramids in their architecture, the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill. They tell you who they are. They put it in your face because they think you're too stupid to see. They need our consent, even if it's unconscious. That's why they reveal their plans in movies and music videos. Predictive programming, karmic loophole. If we don't object, we consent. So what do? How do we stop this? First of all, wake the fuck up. Every parent, every uncle, every aunt, every older sibling needs to understand this war is real. Stop handing your kids to the enemy. Get them out of these public schools because they're all indoctrination camps. Homeschool, unschool, reprogram, deprogram. Teach them who they are. Teach them where they come from, how to think, and not what to think. Protect their bodies. No vaccines you haven't researched. No processed garbage food. Filter the water. Limit the screens. Get them in nature. Get them in sunlight. Touching grass. Playing real games with real friends. Build their immune systems. Build their minds. Build their spirits. Protect their souls. Teach them about God, the universe, spirit, about the fact that they have divine power these parasites can never have. Pray with them, meditate, build their intuition so they can spot evil when it comes dressed as authority. Build communities. The nuclear family was a trap to isolate us. We need extended families, tribes, villages, multiple adults watching multiple kids, homeschool co-ops, community gardens, local trade networks. Get off their grid as much as possible. Cash transactions, barter, starve their system. Name the names. Stop being fucking scared. Call out the politicians, the CEOs, the celebrities who are all a part of this, the institutions, the corporations. Stop voting for their puppets. Stop buying their products. Stop watching their shows. Hit them in the wallet. Hit them in the reputation. And most importantly, have more children. Because that's the ultimate resistance. Every child you raise conscious, healthy, and free is a middle finger to their depopulation agenda. Raise warriors, not consumers. Raise leaders, not followers. Raise humans who know their worth and won't bow to the machine. They want us childless, isolated, medicated, and docile. Do the opposite.